Welcome, Fedi friends, to episode 4 of Fireside Fedi. I'm your host, Ozone. Fireside Fedi is a show about folks within the Fediverse. You're seeing this, that's you as well. With me today is Laurin, which I'm going to mispronounce, but we'll get to that. Laurin has been a climate activist since 2019, currently working part-time on ActivityPods, thanks to funding from NLNet. ActivityPods are meant to bring Sir Tim Burnerss Lee, if you know him, he's the father of the modern internet, his solid pod technology, and combine it with ActivityPub, the protocol that powers the Fediverse. That has to be one of the most technical things I've talked about so far. So Laurin, welcome, and thank you for taking the time to talk with me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So first off, what is the best way to address you? Sir Laurin, you and I were talking before this, and you're German. So how do you pronounce your name again in German?
Right, you say Laurin, but I'm fine with
Laurin.
Laurin.
Okay, yeah, my tongue doesn't work that way. So yeah, Laurin. Is that it? That wasn't it at all.
Should I repeat? Laurin.
I'm not.
It's like ouch, this lau, and then rin,
Ouch,
like
like
Reen, Doreen.
Laurin?
Yeah, right.
Okay. I'll do my best.
Just go with
No,
Laurin.
Laurin. Okay,
My
yeah.
English name.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to offend you. So that's okay. Laurin is okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go with Laurin. So Laurin, tell us first off a little bit about yourself. Who was Laurin growing up? First off, what led you to this place and time?
Oh, good question. Well, if I start at the very beginning, apparently my parents said I was always fascinated with switches and turning on and off the lights and understanding which switch is responsible for what.
Yeah.
So I had some kind of early fascination for technology, definitely. Um,
Cool.
yeah, and this is something that continued over the years. And when I was 17, 18, 19, I was thinking, what am I going to study? I
Mm-hmm.
had done some coding before and really liked it, and yeah, solving those riddles. So I thought, okay, I'm very political as well. I'm interested in sociology, psychology, whatever. But then I thought, okay, computer science is something um, I can do many things with afterwards and try to, yeah, get different um, disciplines together. So then I studied computer science in my bachelor's, and now I'm working part-time on ActivityPods, and I'm studying computational social systems in Graz. It's in Austria. And
Computational social systems. That seems like the best of sociology, psychology, and computer science. What is that?
it's kind of a buzzwordy thing.
What is
But
it?
yeah, so it's a study program you can study if you have studied computer science before,
Mhm.
sociology, psychology, law, or business administration. Um, so there are a lot of different people coming together here,
Yeah.
and you can choose one of 4 specializations: psychology, sociology, law, or business. And I decided to go for sociology, but also a bit of psychology. Um, yeah, basically to understand how social media and technology
Oh,
shapes society and the other way around. Yeah, I'm interested into social media, which is why I'm working on ActivityPods. And I want to understand how we can, yeah, improve on the alternatives.
that's that's fascinating. That sounds heavy. So yeah, in Traz in chat said is that the computation of social structures like communities, for example, or is it more and I think you kind of answered this, but it sounds like it is more the sociology and psychology of how technology impacts our lives. Is that
Mhm. Yeah, it's really both. You can specialize in all kinds of things. Um, So this semester we had a research project, and we could choose on anything related to analyzing some social, political, or business related, whatever you liked, question, and try to apply digital methods to understand, analyze it. For example, one group was mining data from a recipe site and try to see how engagement differed around healthy versus unhealthy recipes. So
Dude.
this is something you could do as well. I looked at climate opinions about climate change and environmental issues and how this differs across countries with high or low fossil fuel production rent. You can do that as well.
Dude, that sounds like heavy stuff. Is it a lot of statistics? Is it what does it
Mhm.
look like?
Right. So at the beginning, or you definitely need some data science statistics knowledge, and the people who have a background in computer science or sociology, psychology have a big advantage with either statistics or the whole getting it down to code and doing the analysis. Though now with ChatGPT and the generative AI tools, it's getting easier for people to pick up the data science part as well, or the coding. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry, I forgot. I got kind of lost with
No,
how
no,
I was
this is
talking about.
no, you're great.
Uh,
This is
yeah, but
amazing.
then
I never knew this was a thing. Please go on. Yeah.
it took me a while to find this study program. It's quite new, and the disciplines also. The idea of getting different disciplines together to understand society and using technological methods for this is new, or
Wow.
at least as a more concerted effort. So there are other one of my professors, she's really cool, Professor Fariba Karimi. She's doing a lot of agent-based modeling, it's called. So you define so-called agents that have that you give certain properties. Say you have different agents, people on a grid, and they wander around randomly, and when they meet, um, they say they trade with each other, or when there are agents and there are food restaurants nearby, the agents get happy. So the question is, how does the happiness in this model change depending on how the food restaurants are distributed? Things like that you can do as well and try to use those
Wow.
technologies to model societies and try
So
to get a good model that describes certain social behaviors.
so at what level do you define a society though? Because I mean, there's Germany, that's a society. The US is a society. We have micro societies within those. The internet itself can be seen as a society, but again, you have the Twitter society or the Fediverse society. So what I mean that so first off, that has to be absolutely fascinating looking at the differences in those societies, so how do you focus on what you define as a society?
This is a very good question, and there's no clear answer to this,
Right?
unfortunately.
Yeah. It's not one or
Mhm.
the other, right? We all merge and we overlap in some areas and not others.
Yeah, and it's a very, well, you could say political thing as well, or depending on. There's always a lot of criticism about economic models because they assume, for example, rational agents. Um, and we know people are not rational in that sense. But in some ways, those models can describe some part of economic, um, yeah, economic facts in a way. But the model is only very limited in what it can do. Um, so
Wow.
it really depends how you define it, and you should probably get in contact with people from sociology or psychology who have more experience in actually describing those things.
Okay.
Because otherwise, well, it's hard to say how this holds true or the results hold true
Yeah.
for reality, of course. Yeah.
No.
So
Yeah, that's yeah. No, it's I mean that's the standard physicist problem, right? Theoretical versus and I recently watched Oppenheimer's the only reason I'm talking about this, but you can only theorize so much. And if your model doesn't fit society, like, what is that piece that you're missing? Like you would expect it to go like this, but human activity is so much more complex than a series of, a dozen, 2 dozen, whatever number of variables, right? Like we literally have millions of variables in our daily life and you can't account for every single one.
right, yeah. It's really
Dude,
hard.
that is fascinating. So you're currently a student.
Right, yeah.
Are you going for like a PhD or
No, this is just a master's program for now. I'm not sure if I
just
wanna.
just
Well, yeah, it's a master's program, not a PhD.
right.
I'm not sure if I want to go for a PhD because this is usually um, this implies I have to do a lot of very specific work on one topic, and
Yes.
I'm not sure if I can find this one question to work on because I like actual development as well, more of this research and
Okay.
development, and not just research. So if
Yeah.
I find something interesting, but yeah, I don't have the. I'm not planning on doing so right now.
Okay. Yeah, you never know what life is going to bring, right? Like I just have a master's degree as well, but the reason that I have a master's degree is 2008 hit right when I graduated my bachelor's and no one was really
Mhm.
hiring. So I'm like, I'll go back for a master's, but who knows where your path leads? Just always, keep an open mind and you figure out as it goes. You take this step and then you go on. That's awesome though. That's incredible, man. I've never heard anything like that. That's a degree field that like you don't think exists, and then someone on a random stream tells you it does. That's awesome. I love that. So you're a student, you're a developer, you're a climate activist. What do you have any free time? What does it look like? What do you do in your free time?
A good question. Usually, no, that's not usually. So I moved to Graz recently for this master's program. I lived in Halle, which is near Leipzig in eastern Germany before.
Okay.
Um, and now, well, everything's kind of new, but I have very nice flatmates. We're a flat of 4 people. So actually, we're hanging out a lot in the evenings and chill together or do some trips, yeah, around to the mountains, things like that. Um,
Okay.
I used to sing in a choir. I haven't really found one here yet. What else? Like cycling, things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Outdoors. Yeah. Well, I mean, you are a climate activist, right? So I assume that one goes in hand with the other, right? You didn't just like sit in your room making code. You're like, I'm gonna go help the climate. Like you're out in it all the time, so you see the changes and things like that, dude.
To
That's
be
all.
fair, I used to do more climate activism when I was in Halle. Now it's less so. I'm trying to go more into the direction of tech activism or, yeah, activism in a broader sense. There's a
Okay.
association here that's hosting, for example, a Mastodon server, but who are doing advocacy work in the, yeah, society here in the communities. So I'm trying to go in a different direction since I'm thinking, okay, I've got very, yeah, niche expertise and climate activism, something others can do as well, with less expertise in computer science. So yeah, I'm shifting this right now.
No, but I mean, that's good. You try and find where you can be most valuable, where you figure that you can make the most impact, right? So are you? are you like a Fediverse activist now around your local communities and stuff? You're saying, or
Mm, in a bit, I wouldn't. Yeah, not so much. A bit. Every time I see someone posting some Instagram links, I'm like, "Hey, could you not do this?" Or, "Hey, there's an alternative for this.
yeah,
Um, Here you go. Those platforms are propaganda platforms. They're governed by very few individuals with a profit motive, and this manipulating us. We need something else. I can't even look at this because I don't have an account." Um, and
right?
people nowadays are quite receptive for this, actually, now that they're looking towards the US and are sort of shocked what's happening there.
Yeah. As a person from the U.S., I'm sort of shocked what's happening here as well. But no, it's again that balance, right? That I'm the same way. I'm passionate about the Fediverse. I actually have my own cast shirt on that I just got, and I'm planning on wearing it out tonight. But it's that balance of you're passionate about something, but you don't want to annoy people, but yet you want them to know that there's an alternative. So, like, I've talked to people at my martial arts gym I go to, and it's like, hey, I told you about this. Did you check it out? And they're like, oh, yeah, we've been really sick. It's like, okay, no problem. I'll back off. I swear. I'm not going to start like preaching to you. And I don't know
Uh-huh.
about you, but I run Linux, and I was that Linux guy. It's like, hey, have you heard about Linux? Let me help switch you. And you come to find out pretty fast that people have to want that. They have to be receptive to that. They have to prioritize that, or else you just come off as kind of annoying jerk,
Yeah.
right? So no, that's great though. I love all of this. This is all great. I love this so far. How so your is your work, which we'll get into what ActivityPods is and what you do and all that in a second, but is your work in addition to the schooling you're doing, or is that a part of it? Like, is this a project you're like, I'm doing this as a part of my master's program?
It's in addition, there's little intersection. I
Okay.
did the ActivityPods work before, and I was thinking, I really like this, but I'm not sure how this is going to continue, and I want something. Um, I want a perspective change as well, and not work on the infrastructure only. So this is why I decided to do the studies program here.
Okay. So yeah, you're doing them kind of in tandem, not one part of another.
Mhm.
You're again helping out where you find that your niche can help, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So do you want to talk about activity pods and what it is? I mean, I've done research. I've known
Mhm.
what pods, solid pods were. I think I told you like I've been following it for like, well, you told me I think it came out like 7 years ago, so I've probably been following it shortly after that. But do you want to talk about it,
Mhm.
what they are?
No guarantee on if it's 7 years or more or less.
Yeah, yeah. No, don't quote you, right?
um, so yeah, I've been following this for ages as well, and I thought, oh wow, this is so interesting. As I said, when I started with the computer science degree, one of the reasons was that I was upset with social media and how this is going, and how people are, getting addicted by the way those platforms work, and what it does to the political landscape, and or thinking the other way around, what could society be like in politics if people use those platforms to engage meaningfully, and if those platforms were designed to um, actually do their best, and not make profit by showing you advertisements, with all that long tail of things that this has as a consequence.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so then there was Tim Burnerss Lee and those ideas of bringing back the internet how it should be, like, and the idea of tearing down those walled gardens, because social media platforms, well, the thing is, they work because there are so many other people on the platform,
Yep.
and if there weren't so many people, well, people would switch, but there are those big walled gardens people can't get out, and they do their best so you can't. This is why I was fascinated about that. And again, and along with this idea of linked data, semantic web, I'm not sure if it's a big thing people know about. But the basic idea is you store data in a format that all different kinds of application can use. So you gain interoperability. Same thing with the Fediverse, actually, where different applications, at least to some degree, are compatible with each other. And yeah, you can view articles or pixel-fed posts on your Mastodon account, for example. So this is something that fascinated me as well. Yeah, it took me a while. And so after my bachelor's, I made an internship at Inrupt, the company that Tim Burnerss Lee founded, around those solid social link data pods. Pods being, I'm not sure, I didn't explain it yet, did I?
No. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, where do I start? Unfortunately, it's a lot of things you need to get your head around a bit. But the idea of a personal online data store or pod, whatever you want to call it, some call it data spaces. I'll stay with pod for now. The idea is you have your one account. It's like your Google account, but it's not tied to Google. You can choose where you create your account. Similar like with email. You go with an email provider, be it Gmail, Yahoo, or maybe some, I'm not sure about the US and which ones you have there that are smaller, GMX in Germany or Web, whatever. And yeah, you can choose. And it's not, and with that, it's similar to this login with Google, login with Facebook, whatever. You use your account and you can then use different applications with the same account. This is the idea of solid in an ideal world. And there are a lot of specifications. It's a lot from a technical perspective because most developers don't learn how all of those standards work.
Right.
Yeah. So where do I continue? So you have this personal online data store. So this is your account and all your data is stored with this. And then you have different applications that can work on modify this data. For example, a calendar or something like that. You can use your calendar app, but then after a while you think, I don't like this calendar app. I use a different one. This would be an example of how Solid should work in an ideal world.
Yeah. So again, I've followed it for quite a long time, and actually have had chats back in the Solid chat community about like how do you get uptake with something like this. And this was before I knew about the Fediverse. And the way that I've come to look at it as, Facebook has all of your data in their servers. Now imagine if you held all of your data. So a big box that just has everything about you, whatever you want. And it's more like cell phones that have to say, when you go to access an app, it has to say, can I access your name? Can I access your pictures? Can I access your, text history? And it's like, well, I don't want you to have access to my pictures. So like Mastodon, right? Like I only want you to have access to my name, obviously on the internet, and any of the text that I have. And this moves the problem of migrating, even in Mastodon, even in the Fediverse, we have these silos, like you said, of there's PixelFed, there's Mastodon, and it is everything housed in your pod. And today you want Mastodon. So you hook up Mastodon, allow it to have whatever. And then, well, I also, I want PixelFed. So instead, I just want PixelFed to only have access to my pictures. It's that kind of idea, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And ActivityPods takes on that idea of connecting it into the Fediverse.
Yes, exactly. So you
Okay.
can use different social applications for different use cases. So, for example, there's Welcome to My Place. That's an app for organizing local community events. It's more of it's not like one of those big event sharing platforms on the Fediverse like Mobilisant or Gancio, which have public events. It's more for private events, and you can invite people, or give the authorization to others to invite people to your event. Mm,
Okay.
This would be one application. Then we have a fairly new one. It's not super stable yet, called Masterpod, more towards microblogging. um, yeah, and you have the same account, the same network of friends, but different use cases.
Right. Okay.
Mm.
So yeah, I was looking at. So I have Mastopod up here. I haven't actually looked at this. I did see you had "Welcome to My Place," and I wasn't 100% sure what it was. I saw that there was a sign up, but I think that it's uh, not really usable yet, or is it?
Masterpod, you mean?
No.
Um,
"Welcome to My Place." I mean, it
yeah,
could be because I
there's
locked down my entire browser that it doesn't work right. But
mhm. There's still some instabilities, but Welcome to My Place is one of the apps that is used in two French communities, I think.
okay.
The whole project comes from a French community, the Assemblée Virtuelle, Virtual Assembly, an association of people, yeah, excited about a free internet, and um, there are different applications coming from this community, and one of them being ActivityPods.
Okay.
Um, and they do a lot of local community work. They're somehow connected to the environmental movement in France as well.
Oh wow.
Um, and so in their communities, they said, "Oh, we want to set this up and create our own application." And so there are, I think, about 500 people in those communities that use it.
Okay. And I mean, again, it's not, it's not Facebook, but in my opinion, every person that moves off of those big centralized platforms, give them less power, and we take back the internet for us. I'm an idealist, so if that seems overly dramatic, that's fine. But that's how I look at it at this point: is it's our data, they're making money off of us. We need to kind of take back control and maybe get them to start playing nice with everyone else. So
Mhm.
one person, 500 people, 5,000 people, 5 million people. It's all a drip in the bucket, and slowly that we'll get that back. Um,
Mhm.
Now, so ActivityPods is built as essentially an add-on to Solid, right? So it's taking
Mhm.
Solid and it's plugging ActivityPub inside of it. Solid itself even can stand alone. Like, I believe, if I remember correctly, back when Sir Tim Burnerss Lee mentioned about doing it, his idea wasn't just um, social media. It was, you house your own medical data in there. When you go to a new doctor, you give them permission to access your medical data or your banking information. So we're no longer tied into these specific companies. It's ours. Is that, first off, is that correct? Is that still the idea to do that once you can get this running? But also, I saw someone in chat ask about is it built on blockchain? I don't think it's built on blockchain at all. I think it's completely separate, right?
Mhm. No, there's no nothing to do with blockchain. Let me go back to the point before for just a
Yeah,
second,
yeah, yeah.
because I think it's a very small community still. But the idea in Germany, there's a movement, a degrowth movement that they speak of Reallabore, like real life laboratories. So I think it's a place where we can experiment and try different things and see how things might scale and what works, what doesn't work. Um, so this is the approach, in my opinion, at the moment. But we're trying to scale and improve the software to grow bigger.
Hmm.
Um, to the next question about if that's still the idea of Solid, I would say so. There's still, after the years of working on standardization issues with a lot of things. For example, only recently there's been a spec, another standard extension, or a solid kind of, you say specification, it's long documents saying how applications need to behave.
Right.
Um, and only recently, and we're implementing this right now, there's been one that's actually about allowing different applications to access different data on your pod, because
Okay.
until now the authorization was very on or off, and now it's going to a direction where you can actually say, yeah, I want to share this particular information, my health records, but not my personal
Right.
yeah,
Personal banking
say
account or something.
banking account or how much I do sports. Maybe you have some sport tracking app, but you don't want to share this with your health insurance, maybe.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
So now this is coming as well. But there's things like that. There's still things to do.
Yes. So, I mean, that's especially the life of a software developer. It moves so fast, right? That there's always more that you want to accomplish. Never enough time, never enough people, never enough money. But if you're folks out there that this sounds interesting, look for folks to donate towards, get involved in Solid. Like it's an open project. Reach out. Like again, I've talked to folks in chat, in the Solid chat like 7 years ago, and I was just asking general questions. Just talk to people, see how you can help. Now, you've been involved with Solid before ActivityPods.
Yeah, with I was basically until 2022, I think I was just following this along. But then I applied for an internship at Interrupt, the company behind Tim Burnerss Lee, and working on solid technologies.
Mm-hmm.
And to some extent, this was the starting point. And then I happened to run around and find ActivityPods, and I thought, wow, this is a really cool project because you don't have the just application and data storage, but also the social aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a Fediverse fan back then as well. So I thought, okay, this is a great project. I need to get involved there.
No, and I remember seeing this, and it's like I love this idea. I love being able to take this, but at the time, the entrenchment of big tech, like people weren't, disenchanted by it. It was still a thing that had not gotten too egregious, that was pushing people away. And I think I even asked in the chat, was like, how do you expect people to move away from that, right? Like you have a great idea, but there's nothing to combat that idea of, here's everything for free, do what you want with
Yeah.
it, it doesn't charge anything. And now I think people are really seeing that idea of it does cost something, right? And attaching that to things like the Fediverse allow you again to really take your data to whichever front end you want. You don't have to continually setting up this new server and this new server and this new server, and it gives you back the power. And I think once you guys start getting people to do that, and again, I'm in the US, so a lot of people here are still, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram. I think a lot of Europe is moving away from that model, as you said, because of what's happening in the US. And to get people caring, I think, and giving them access to their social media still is brilliant, and is definitely a step in the right direction. What so when the Fediverse was coming up, did someone there immediately like have a light switch and it's like, this is where we need to be? Or did you come there and it's like, hey, have you heard about this Fediverse thing? Like, we should connect into that. Like, how did that play out? Do you know?
I mean, for me personally, good question. Honestly, I can't really remember. This was, yeah, around 2017, 18 maybe, where I discovered things like that, Matrix, Mastodon as
Hmm.
well. I thought, "Oh, cool, I'll get an account," but then next to no one else was using it, so I
Yep.
abandoned it for a while.
Yep.
But then over the years, also in Europe and Germany especially, in Austria, Switzerland as well. So there's the Chaos Computer Club,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
um, and it's the biggest hackers association in Europe. And they're, yeah, hackers in a broader sense of developing
Hmm.
software and security research,
Right.
and yeah, it's quite a political thing as well. And so there's a big community of people that are involved with those topics. And I think this was one of the sources as well where um, I got to know or got more involved with those things, at least
Hmm.
interested. And I guess this is one of the reasons, because the association is quite well connected into different communities as well. It's not just techie, but um, queer, climate activist, general society topics like mutual aid,
Hmm.
like hacker workers spaces, things like that. So those were connecting points, where those ideas can actually, yeah, find their way into civil society. And once every year, there's the big congress, the Chaos Computer Congress.
Hmm.
No, Chaos Communication Congress,
I've heard
usually
of
in
it. I've
Hamburg.
never been to any of them. I'd like to go sometime, but yeah, they
Yeah,
sound amazing.
it's really, um, in a way overwhelming as well, because there's so many flashy things and so many people and workshops
Yeah.
and super funny technological things. For example, a lot of people are wearing cat ears, and it's just a thing.
Okay.
There were some people actually designing a LED kit, which you could, yeah, plug into a USB power bank, and so it would
Okay.
flash your
So they
cat
would
ears.
light up.
But
Nice.
the best thing about it, there was a Wi-Fi chip in there, so when other cat ears came close, they synchronized,
Oh,
and
no
so they
way.
both were, yeah, flashing in the same frequency.
Dude. Like we
Yeah,
talk
you
about
find those things as well now.
we were talking, we were literally, you were just talking about societies, and that like it has society, it is its own society, right? Like outside of that environment, that makes no sense. Like why would anyone do this? But that brings people together. Like just that thing, like, hey, I have this weird thing and everyone else is doing it. It's like, I'm going to advance it a little way. And now
Mhm.
we're synced. So we're connected. And like, it's such a beautiful thing that something like that is the technology bringing us together, right? Like, I love that. That I don't know if I would wear the cat ears.
You would
That is
after a
great.
while when everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, when you're the only one not doing it, right? Then you actually stand out more because you're not doing it. I love that. That's incredible. That is so cool. Um, so you have activity blog. Do you want to talk about activity blog? I wasn't 100% sure. It sounds like
Um,
a solid activity pub for blogging, but there's also Mastopod. So can you tell me a little
mhm.
bit about it?
Okay, the disclaimer, it's not working well yet, since um, it took more time than I anticipated, and now there's not a lot of money making things more complicated. Yeah, but the idea is, you can develop. There's the ActivityPods framework for developing new applications.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's React and React admin based. It's a framework for, yeah, getting started with applications quickly. Um, and I thought, or yeah, I was asked if I could write a blogging app based on ActivityPods, and asked a friend to do the design, and I did the implementation of that. And it's very basic blogging. You can follow others, have your feed, create your own blog posts, upload pictures or videos or audio files.
So, and then this is all kept inside your pod, and this is more of a front end so that you can easily blog, and then again, it's ActivityPub powered so that anyone can follow it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So it's mostly just the front end for using your pod, and that's responsible for, and the application's responsible for showing the posts and showing other people's posts, and you can write the post there. But then ActivityPods, your ActivityPods account is responsible for storing the data, sending it to others, the following,
Okay.
or
Yeah. Again, it all kind of interconnects. And as for it takes longer and not enough money. I mean, that's classic open source development, right? Like you're lucky you get any money in open source development. But no, you keep chipping away at it. And one of the things that I've told folks about softwares like this is like, even if it never lives up to what you want, it's still making a difference in people's lives, right? Like, you and I are talking about it, but being open source it allows that kid somewhere else in the world that is interested in this stuff to go look and learn from that. And you'll never know that you've had such a massive impact on people's lives, but it is still out there. And I think even if it's not working right, the fact that you have it out there, and again, can keep chipping on it is great. And please never stop that. As for, so one of the folks in chat asked, like, and I think I know the answer to this, but the whole idea of ActivityPods, pods specifically, is that you control your data. Where does that data reside? Like you can't get it mailed to you. So it has to exist, on your own server, on someone else's server. You guys have a thought or a plan on how to make, first off, where that's located and how to make that easy to pick up?
This is a very good question, and it's a hard one from a technological perspective. Where do I start? So, first of all, we're living in an HTTP world with the Fediverse. What does that mean? Nothing is end-to-end encrypted, and it's hard. It's
Right.
Fediverse is for public or semi-public data mostly, or it's optimized for that. And you have your instance provider, whatever you want to call it. For example, your Mastodon, Mastodon.online, or something like that. And your data is stored there. And since you send the data there, and the server is responsible for sending it to others, it needs to look into your activity, the node, the new post, whatever it is. And ActivityPub is designed for not being end-to-end encrypted.
Right.
So we need to store this data unencrypted on our servers as well, or at least to some extent. You can download your data, and soon we will implement pod migration as well, or account migration, as you can do, for example, with Mastodon. And this is still a big step, still a bit away, but I'm very excited about this. We're teaming with Nico from NextGraph, and NextGraph is the new shit. So the basic idea here is everything is end-to-end encrypted at first, and you have, it's more of a peer-to-peer spirit. You send your data from one person to another person. You can share your data. It's offline first, which means you don't have to be connected to the internet, but as soon as you are, things synchronize and resolve. And here it's different because the server cannot actually look in the data, and it's just responsible for syncing things, but not for processing things. So it only knows, okay, I need to put this package somewhere else. But do
Okay.
not process this the same way as ActivityPub servers would have to. And we're actually going to use Nextgraph with ActivityPods very soon. This is going to come this year. However, we're only using Nextgraph as a database for the time being.
Okay.
I'm not sure how much I should go into the technical details. It's a bit, it
Yeah,
might
no,
be a bit of
that's
a detour.
yeah. This is heavy stuff. And I mean, you get into the issue with any centralized service, Proton Mail, Matrix being the key ones. Is how do you encrypt something but also allow people to access their data in a manner as easily as they've accessed it before, right? You need to make it invisible but still assure everyone that it is there and working. And that's a really difficult thing, because if you say ActivityPods or pods in general take off, like I've asked before, how I literally asked that question again years ago. How do you expect people to house this? Like, I'm an IT nerd, right? Like, I'm running all of this on the Fediverse. I've set all of it up with significant help from my community, but a standard mother, at home, she's not going to know how. So in theory, you would have a pod provider, right? Maybe $2 a month, or maybe you have your government decides to go in and they host it. But then that brings in the same kind of privacy issues that we see now, which is you don't have privacy on the internet. So you need to have that information encrypted at rest, but easily able to be accessed. And Nextgraph is, like you said, peer-to-peer, end-to-end kind of a thing that could help solve some of that stuff. But it's still in flight, right? Like, all of this stuff is a work in progress.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I mean, technically, all of this is possible. It's totally possible. It's hard, but it's possible, and we need the money. And it doesn't even cost much in comparison to what states spend for their Microsoft Office subscription.
Yep.
This is peanuts. But then one of the hard things in the open source community in general is getting the user experience and user interfaces right.
Yep.
And for Nextgraph, this is going to be a key challenge as well, but the framework is very good in a way that all the technology of getting things encrypted and so on, as a developer, you won't have to deal with that, and as an app user, neither. So I think this is something we're going to be able to solve fairly soon. But then it's more than a technical issue, also a social issue of actually getting people to use the software and making the jump from their previous networks to a different technology. And the idea with using Nextgraph or teaming up Nextgraph with ActivityPods is actually to have the bridge from Nextgraph to the Fediverse to address, to be able to speak with this community while having your own network as well, which with the one part being end-to-end encrypted and local first, but then being connected with the Fediverse as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I've told my community before, and again, I'm an idealist and I love to see the privacy take off, but it seems to me that the Fediverse is, in my opinion, Internet 2.0. It really is that open environment that anyone can do anything with. And especially with something like pods, if you guys get pods running where people can move them around to whatever they want, that opens it back up to us. We no longer have these walled gardens, as you're talking about. We no longer have all of the energy, money, power within a couple of large technology companies. Now, what does success look like to you? That is success for yourself. That is success with ActivityPods. What does success look like to Laurin?
Good question. I should be asking myself this more often. I need a moment, I think.
Yeah, take your time.
So for ActivityPods, I think it is having a framework that is really easy to use from a developer experience point of view, setting up new applications, and getting the interfaces right, data sharing between different applications, authorizing a certain application to do something
Mhm.
and another one to have access to some of the data, maybe not the health records, but the sports tracking apps data. Getting this set up correctly, getting new developers using this application or developing new applications on top of that, making it very easy. This is one of the goals, and being able to scale and making ActivityPod servers be able to host thousands or even more of users with no performance issues.
Okay.
And getting this closer together with Nextgraph being end-to-end encrypted and local first.
Okay.
This is my vision. And personally, whatever how people can work together, use technology to work to have political debate. And I'm very interested in the question of how can we design the interfaces and the technology in a way that fosters different opinions coming together and finding solutions for problems, like this deliberative aspect. I know it's not everything. It can only do so much. But I think those are things I want to work on, and on the next steps, go further, see how we can use those technologies for transforming society.
Wow.
Very vague.
Okay. No, that's amazing. Yeah. So you want to your idea of success is making it so that you can essentially break down these walls and bring society back together, right? And help people understand each other. It seems like through technology. Doesn't all have to be bad. No, that's wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah. For me, success looks like not arguing with my kids on a daily basis. So. Mine are a little bit, but we need people of all kinds, right? Like mine is no different. My idea of success is no less valuable to me than yours is. I mean, I could never do the things that you folks do, and that's why I massively appreciate you guys. So thank you for all you do. So that's all the questions I have. But now for the real reason I asked you here. I'm going to give you an opportunity to win a prize of a lifetime. The prize today is some troll back hair, which can be used to keep you warm in the winter, or it has a smell, so you could probably fumigate your house. I thought about a lifetime supply of half-chewed gum, but I swallowed it. Sorry. So, are you ready for our quiz on your opportunity to win these prizes of a lifetime?
Okay, sure. Just wanted to say I really appreciate this podcast and your approach to
thank you.
Showing how people giving it behind the scenes. This is very valuable.
No, thank you guys again. You and I were talking beforehand, and I didn't expect anyone to be interested. So I love talking to people. I'm absolutely fascinated by this, and again, just trying to do my part. But this has been great. I appreciate it. But now for the real questions. So, what's your favorite movie, and why is it Spaceballs?
Oh, I used to like Avatar a lot.
Avatar. Okay.
It's a long time though since I saw it. I think I really liked the sceneries and how things looked. It was, yeah,
It's a beautiful
very,
movie.
very, yeah,
I
yeah.
saw the second one, and it just doesn't
Mhm.
have the same feeling.
I actually didn't see it. Maybe I should, but when you say, oh, okay, um,
You can't
that's
you
it.
can't. No, not Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't think. I think you mean
No,
Avatar: The
yeah,
Big
yeah, the
Blue Aliens, right?
right.
With what was it,
Even though the
unobtainium?
Last Airbender show was quite cool as well.
I've never seen that one, so I got nothing on that, unfortunately. Marmite, haggis, or spam?
Um, I only know Marmite actually.
Okay,
I was in Australia for exchange in the year 2014. I was 16 back then. Um,
I've never tried it.
so I know Marmite, and I like Vegemite. So Marmite was okay too.
I've heard of Vegemite. I've never tried Vegemite or Marmite. I've never tried haggis. Spam is interesting. Um, uh, red,
Is it
blue, or
kind of a
green?
yeast spread as well?
No, spam. Spam is essentially, in my understanding, is all the meat that they have left over that they don't make into hot dogs and bologna. They can it as
Oh, okay.
spam. It's
Mhm.
it's food, I guess you could call it that.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I'm vegan. I'll skip on that.
There you go. Yeah, you're good. Red, blue, or green?
Red.
Red. Okay, that was decisive. Red is your
Yeah,
favorite color, then I assume, or
blue is quite nice as well. I like how it's a strong color.
it
Yellow
is.
is kind of light, and green is a thing between yellow and blue. So,
Okay.
yeah, red is very, yeah, pure.
Okay. In an alternate universe, what does Laurin do?
Um, Having fun in a library. It's a utopian universe, and people hang out in libraries and share their things. There's abundance because people share, and I hang out in the library and solve math problems or talk to others and have a
Oh, that
drink.
sounds that sounds awesome. Actually, that sounds relaxing. That sounds peaceful. I love that. So I reached out to one of the alternate universe Laurens, and he says he plays jazz flute for ocelots because they have a hard day at work and they need to unwind at the end of the
Mhm.
day. So,
Okay, not
um,
bad.
dark energy or timescape?
Timescape.
Oh, you like timescape? Really? You're the first one I've talked to that actually knows what timescape is.
um, is it no? Okay, maybe. Are you talking about the physical thing, timescape, or
Physics, yeah.
the? Yeah. Okay. You had physics extension course in school. And
Okay.
dark matter things. I didn't. We didn't do that, but it seemed kind of weird. And timescape and Einstein's relativity theory. I like this kinds of things.
Okay. Yeah, I love the idea. I recently heard about timescape and I love the idea because it is less complex than this dark energy that we assume is out there but we can't find. So
Yeah.
I've been asking everyone, like one of the guys in my community, his friend's a physicist, and I was like, so what do you think of timescape? And he's like, what is that? And I was like, wait, you're a physicist, right? He's like, I work on lasers. I was like, oh,
Mhm.
well, never mind. So, and the last question that I have for our quiz, then as usual, I'm going to send it to you telepathically, so you can just give me the answer when you're ready. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So there's a question. So what's your answer?
Um, Hard one. I prefer long sleeve shirts over short ones.
Okay. All right. Congratulations. You got every answer, either correct or incorrect. Good job. I sent our community member Hylas to bring you your prize, but since he's a NASCAR eSIM racer, he just kept going left and he eventually ran out of tires and gas, so he didn't get there. So I'll make sure to scold him appropriately for you. But that's it. That's the end of episode 4 of Fireside Fedi. Laurin, it's been absolutely fascinating and wonderful to have you on. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
So we'll see you guys next time. I believe it's going to be Brother Soul potentially, but I'll let everyone know on the Fediverse. So if anyone has any questions, Laurin's on Codeberg and he has his Mastodon account on there. Don't hesitate to shoot him a message. Boost the video if you want. There's no algorithms. I don't get paid for any of this. So do this if you find it interesting. Get other people involved in the Fediverse. We're all a part of this society to try and make things better and take our power back. So I want to thank everyone for coming, and I will catch you guys next time. Have a great one. Bye.
Ciao.